Okay, so we've been working really hard on our multiplication of 2-digit by 2-digit numbers, like this example I have here, 32 by 29. Over here I listed some key vocabulary that is going to be used throughout the lesson, including product, which is the outcome or answer of a multiplication problem, the sum, which would be the outcome or answer to an addition problem, the ones place and the tens place, the ones place, the 9 and the 2, and the tens place, the 3 and the 2 here. So we're going to start by using a traditional method, a traditional algorithm, which is simply setting up just like this. The first thing you want to do when you're multiplying this way is you're going to multiply our 9 by both the 2 and the 3. So we're going to start with the 2. 2 times 9 is 18, but we're placing it in the ones column, so you can't fit 18 in the ones column. So you move your 1 over to the tens column. Then you're going to multiply 9 by 3, which is 27, but then you add the extra 1 that was carried over from the ones place. So that gives us 28. Now we're going to move over and we're going to multiply the tens place and the bottom by both the 2 and the 3 above. So now we're focusing on the 2, and we're going to multiply here and here. But the first thing you have to do when doing a multiplication problem like this is you have to place a 0 in the ones place when you move over to the tens, because you've already done the zeros, so the zeros, you've already done the ones, so the ones are taken place by the 0. So now we're going to do 2 by 2, which is 4, and 2 by 3, which is 6. Then, to get your final answer, you just take these two outcomes that you got, and you're going to add them straight down and make sure that you're always lined up. So 8 plus 0, which is 8. 8 plus 4, which is 12, and again, you can't fit 12 in one column, so you move your 1 over here, and then you're going to add 6, 2, and 1. So 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9, or 6 plus 3 is 9. And there's your answer. Next, we're going to look at a different way called a box and cluster. So we're going to use the exact same numbers that we just used here. And we're going to go over here and we're just going to draw a square. And you want to make your square large enough to fit a big old T inside of it so that you can have 4 close to equal sized boxes. A box is a little not equal. Okay. Then you're going to break up your numbers, your 32 and your 29, into tens and ones. So 32 is equal to 3 tens, or 30, and 2 ones. Then you're going to write both your 30 and your 2 above the box. And again, this should equal your original number. Then you're going to do the next number, which is 29, and that's broken up as 2 tens, or 20, and 9 ones. And you're going to write those on the side of your box. And it can be on the left or the right side. It doesn't matter as long as these still add up to 29. So now you're going to go through and you're going to fill out your box by lining up the numbers. We can take this out of the way, but we're not confused. And we're just going to go ahead and fill out our square. So here, I see that I bring my 30 down and my 20 over, and they meet here, and that gives us 600. And I know it's 600 because 2 times 3 is 6, and then you have 2 zeros here. So I add my 2 zeros. Now I'm going to do my 30 and my 9. And 30 by 9 is 270. Next, I'm going to move over to my 2. So now I'm going to do my 2 by my 20, which gives me 40. And then lastly, my 9 by my 2, which is 18. And then, to finish this off, you're going to take all of your boxes inside and add them together. So I'm going to make some room on my board here to add them up. So we have 600, and I always like to put my biggest number at the top. So my 600, and then my 270, my 40, and my 18. And again, we want to make sure that everything is perfectly lined up, that the ones are all in the ones place, the tens are all in the tens place, and the hundreds are all lined up together. And then you're going to add them all together. 0, 0, 0, and 8 gives me 8. 7, 0, 4, and 1 gives me 12. And just like over here, we have to move our 1 up here. And then 1 plus 6 plus 2 is 9. And then we can see that we got the same answers both here and here. So those are 2 ways that I really like, and I hope that these help you help your students. Okay, now we are gonna do another problem similar to what we just did, but I'm gonna ask you to pause the video here and go ahead and try it by yourself with both or one of the 2 methods. And then when you're ready, go ahead and play it out, and I'm going to do each problem and you can follow along and see what you did. Okay, so now that you've worked on the problems on your own, I'm going to go ahead and walk through and you just check your work as I'm going. So 8 times 2 is 16, carry my 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 more is 33. Then I have to add my 0, and we can't forget our 0. Then we're going to move over and do our 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 4 is 12. Add them up. 6 and 0 is 6. 3 and 6 is 9. 3 and 2 is 5, and 1 more, 1,596. Now we're going to move over to our box and cluster. So 40 times 30 is 1,200. And again, I know that because 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 more zeros gets us our number. And one thing we can notice about our box and cluster is that our top left corner is almost always going to be our biggest number if we set it up with the tens by the tens in this top corner. Now we're going to move over to our 40 by our 8, which is 320. And we know that again because 8 times 4 is 32 plus a 0 gives us 320. 30 by 2 is 60. And 8 by 2 is 16. Then we're going to add them. 320, 60, and 16. And here it's really important to make sure all of our numbers are lined up just like over here. We get 6. 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 1 more. And you can see that we got the same answers here. And one thing to notice that's similar between these is in both problems, you're multiplying the ones by the ones and then the tens. And here, you're multiplying the ones by the ones and the tens, and then the tens by the ones and the tens, and the tens by the ones and the tens for both numbers. So that's why both problems work out. So good job today, and hopefully this will help you as you continue doing 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication.